In this video, we're going to talk about anchoring and the various things you can do with an anchor. In an anchoring process, we can either do a single anchor, where we take a feeling and we just anchor it like a button, programming a button on the person that is going to evoke that feeling. Or what I prefer to do is stack them. So we get a whole mass of really good feelings and really good occasions, and we take all the positive energy and just keep putting it on that knuckle. Keep putting it on that knuckle. And when I work with children, I set up a chuckle knuckle. And the chuckle knuckle is where I stack 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 times and had a really happy time where they felt really funny and they were laughing uncontrollably, almost to the point where they were weeing sometimes, where they were laughing so much. And you could see them just getting into state and reliving those moments. And during this, we're going to show you how to do it and what words to use to help your child, to help any child you come up with. Now, as I record this, we're in the pandemic, so touching people is maybe not as wise as it should be, or it could be. And I would recommend using sterilizer, hand sanitizer, and perhaps if you are going to do this, use a glove. Therefore, you're not actually transmitting or transferring any risk of infection between one person and another. And obviously, when doing this, you'll wear screens, you'll wear masks, or whatever it happens to be, whatever's around at the time. But as I record this, I'm just going to pretend it was the olden days, and we can just go ahead and touch people with their permission. And that's the first thing you do. So during this process, I am going to touch your hand. Is that okay? And the person generally, because they're working with me, say, yes, that's okay, Piers. And we set up the chairs at 90 degrees. So I'll sit here, the other person will sit here, and I like the person to be on my right-hand side. I don't know why, it's just something I've got used to. And I set up in my hand in a position where their hand is on their thigh, and my hand is on mine, and I make a fist, and I rest my hand on the fist, and my finger is above their knuckle. And by doing that, I don't have to look down to touch the knuckle. I could just do that, knowing that my hand is literally, my finger is touching their knuckle every single time. So their hand is still, my hand is still, and all I'm doing is just touching that. And I don't even have to look down. So I'm watching them, because the whole thing about this is calibration. And if you've watched some of my previous videos, you'll see the calibration in action. You'll see all the calibration, the sensory acuity. You'll see them, their state change. This is why some of the early videos, if you haven't watched them, go and have a look. And it will show you the background to anchoring and what you need to know before you can really put up an effective anchor. So the first thing you do is you get into rapport. You get the agreement. Is it okay if I touch you? Yes, Piers, that's absolutely fine. If you're working with a minor, please make sure you have permission from the parents to touch their child. And literally just say, well, I'm going to touch your child today on that anchor. Is that okay? And just get permission. Then you set the chairs up. The client sits down. They put their hand on their thigh, and you put your hand on your thigh like this. So your finger can just above their knuckle, so you don't have to look, so you can continually watch. Then you just say to them, right, we're going to anchor some good feelings today. And we're going to anchor some really good feelings that are going to help you in your future. Is that okay? And they go, yes, Piers. And then I get them to close their eyes. And when their eyes are closed, you keep your finger, and literally your hand stays in that position. You do not move your finger. Yep. And you just say to them, go to a time in your past. Go to a time right now where you felt totally happy, totally giggly, totally laughing, whatever it is you're going to anchor. And you say to them, can you remember a time when you felt totally happy? And they'll go, yes. So good. Can you remember a specific time? And they'll go, yes. And then you say to them, go back to that time now. And I'm reading this because I want to make sure that you get the words right. Go back to that time now. Go right back. Float down into your body and see what you saw, what you heard, And finally, feel all those feelings of being totally happy. So I'll repeat that now in my words. My finger is above their knuckle like that. It's all set up. Close your eyes. Can you remember a time in your past when you felt totally happy? Yes. Good. Go to a specific time. Can you remember a specific time when you felt totally, totally happy? And they go, yes. And they're sitting there with their eyes closed like this. So float down in your body and see what you saw. Hear what you heard. And feel all those wonderful feelings that you had being totally, totally happy. And go into that moment now. Float down into your body and you'll see them go down and you'll see them going into that memory. And as they go into that memory, you'll see them going into state. You watch their skin colour change, etc., which you've learnt on previous videos. They go down. As soon as they go into state, you press your finger down. And as your finger goes down on their knuckle, you keep it there and you laugh with them. And you must get into state. And I'll talk about that in a moment. But as they go through, you see them going into state. You see the peak, and as they come out of state, you release your finger. So you've caught all the energy when they're going in, get to the top, before it all comes out and goes really boring again, you take your finger off. Now, when you do this, if you say to them, go to a time when you felt really, really happy, yeah, they're not going to get that. If you say, go to a time when you felt so happy, oh God, you were laughing so much, go to that time right now, yeah, that's it, and laugh with them. Obviously keeping your hand like this so you can touch their knuckle. But really get into state yourself. And the more state, the better state you get into, and the more of the state you get into, the better it is, because they're going to reply using the same state themselves. And they're really just going to slip into that wonderful, wonderful moment when they were laughing so much. And literally, it's just like that. There you go. So it happens so easily. They pop in, anchor it, pop out. When they've come out, you say, great, take a deep breath. Go to another time, a specific time in your past where you felt totally, totally happy. Where you were laughing so much that it was just all too much and you completely lost the mind. You were laughing so much, God bless you. And as they go in, you laugh with them, you get into that state, you throw yourself into actor's mode and you laugh and laugh and laugh with them. Go to that time now, absolutely. Oh, I've got tears right down my face too. Go to that time. And as they peak, they come off the peak, you take it off. So you're capturing all that energy. And as they say, right, great, we're going to do another one. Take a nice deep breath in. Go to another time in your past when you felt totally, totally happy. Where you felt you were laughing so much and you laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh with them. And you go in, you anchor it. As they come off the peak, you unanchor. And you can do this 5, 10, 12 times. And with kids, I like to do about 8 to 10 times. And literally by the end of it, you're tired. My stomach is hurting, my shoulders have been moving like this. They think it's really, really funny. They just laugh and laugh and laugh. And each time you just get some of this lovely laughing energy. You feel this really good, amazing energy. And it just goes in, you anchor it as it comes off peak. And you're stacking up each time, like a book almost, this strength, this ladder of anchors. And then you say to them, excellent. Now, clear the screen and open your eyes. And they go, oh, that was fun, wasn't it? I said, yeah. So what are you going to be doing this afternoon? And you just get them to talk about something for a couple of minutes, what we call break state. And you just say, what are you going to be doing this afternoon? And they'll go, oh, I'm going to go see a friend, mum taking to McDonald's, whatever it happens to be. And by doing that, they're just stepping out of the situation. Say, good. Put your finger like this, get them to close their eyes. And all you do is when you get them to close their eyes, I love this bit, and you see them sitting there plain face, and you touch their knuckle. And as you touch their knuckle, you see them start smiling, and you see them start giggling. And you're firing the anchor. You're firing all those 10 or 12 or however many it is all that fun, all that energy, all those happy endorphins pumping around the body, and you see them laugh. Great, and you just take it off and you say, wow, that worked, didn't it? Clear the screen, open your eyes. So it's really good to put that anchor in place and really, really help it. So let's talk about what an anchor is. An anchor is a stimulus response. If you stroke a dog or a cat or whatever animal that you have around, you're going to feel good inside. It's going to do that and going, oh, this is lovely. And you're stroking the animal. The animal's been anchored to a stroke as well, because as soon as you stroke it, the animal's going to go, oh, lovely. If it's a dog, it's probably going to roll in its belly and ask you to scratch its tummy, because that to them is feel good. I'm being appreciated, I'm being loved. So to them, that's an anchor. And if you take an anchor in a human being, the most obvious anchor in the world is a hug. You take a baby's born, and mother cradles it. And as the mother cradles it or cuddles it, it's being, I'm loved, I'm wanted, I'm safe. And that's why people crave like mad hugs. As I record this, we're in a pandemic and we're not allowed to touch people. And all I hear from clients and friends are saying, oh, I really miss a hug from my mum, my dad, my grandmother, my friends. I just really miss just touching human beings. It doesn't mean anything dirty like that. It just means they miss that human contact. Because the human contact, that is a response. It's a stimulus response. Therefore, it's an anchor. And it's all about that stimulus response. A hug is such an easy anchor to give somebody. You get it and it's anchored inside you. You gain more and more as you grow up. Because whenever you feel ill or horrible, or you felt pain because you've fallen over, or whether somebody in the playgrounds call you poo-poo head, and you see mum or dad or a person who you love and you give them a hug and you feel better. And that's how powerful it is. What do couples do? They hug each other. They feel better. They feel loved. When you see, I don't know, footballers, when they score a goal, they'll go and hug each other. That's a feeling, yes, man. Yeah, that doesn't mean deep, unconditional love, but it means, man, I love it. Well done. Celebration. It makes you feel good. And you feel so good, you just want to hug somebody. And that is a really good anchor. So if we use these anchors in the right way, you can see how positive they can be. When I'm helping people and training people to be presenters or for public speaking, I have them standing in the same way and they anchor their whole body's energy on standing in a certain way. When I'm working with business people, I have them anchoring the sounds. I have them anchoring the feeling of themselves sitting in a seat. When I have somebody who, I did it the other day, I was with somebody and it was a 62-year-old executive, and I gave him a chuckle knuckle because he was getting really worried about presentations and being in the boardroom because he thought he might get fired or people might think he's a bit too old for the job because there were so many young people coming in, and he just didn't feel as good as everybody else. So I said, fine. So what do you say? I actually would be able to laugh at myself a bit more. I said, fine. So I gave him a chuckle knuckle. And he said, yeah, he was in the meeting. And he just kept finding himself just touching his ankle like this, just firing it. He said, I felt really good. And everyone said, I don't know what you're on, but can we have some too? And it really brought the energy of the meeting up. So anchors can be really, really fantastic. Anchoring can be used in so many different places. So the main areas for anchoring, the 5 keys to successful anchoring. Number 1, intensity. So really get the person into that wonderful feeling and really get into that state with them. So when you laugh, they laugh, and when they laugh, you laugh. And you build up this laughter between you. Go to that time now when you feel... Oh, God, this is brilliant. I love doing this. Get in that time now when you felt totally happy and you were laughing so much. And the more you laugh, the more they'll laugh, and just anchor it. So that's intensity. Your timing of the anchor. That's number 2. Timing. As they go in, you put your finger on their knuckle. As they've just peaked, before they come down, you take it off. That's the timing. So you go in, they're coming up. Oh, that was funny. Yeah? So you've captured all that energy. Then the uniqueness. So go to each time and go to specific time. I don't want to hear oh yeah, well it was quite funny when I was 16. No, go to a specific time. Oh God, that time when I was with them. Oh, brilliant! Go to that time like and you anchor it. Then the key thing about this is being able to replicate it. So go back again and again and again and again. Go to another time when you felt totally happy. Float down into your body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and allow yourself to feel all those wonderful feelings that you had at that time when you felt totally happy, and you anchor it. And then you keep the number of times, just keep putting it on, keep putting another layer on, another layer on, another layer on, another layer on, another layer on. And you keep adding to the layers, the stack, to make it more powerful. As I said earlier, with kids, I tend to do around 10, sometimes 8, sometimes 12. I have some kids who found it really difficult to break state and get into a happy state. I've been as many as 20. So it all depends. No one's the same. Thank God we're all different. So this is a very basic way of anchoring and setting up an anchor. And do it with your friends. Get them to get into state with you. So go to a time when you felt really happy and laugh with them. This is the key point, is you've got to get into state with you. Go to a time when you were totally happy, and you laugh with them, and you just get that and keep repeating, keep stacking it on. As they go in, as they come out, poof. These are such important parts of my work and how I get people to work in business. It may seem strange if your HR leader comes up to you and says, I see you're a bit down at the moment, let's have a chat about it, or let's do some work with you. I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes. And I'm going to say, all right, if I touch your knuckle, and you go, yeah, okay. Bit strange. And you get people just doing it in their offices, just giving themselves a chuckle knuckle or a confidence knuckle. So my name is Piers Day, and if you haven't done already, just please subscribe to this channel. This channel has a new video every week, and each week I try and make it a bit more interesting than the last. It's a sort of series, and I'm taking you through from the A to Z of some of the courses that I run and some of the practitioner and master courses as I teach. But it's putting it down into very simple little stages so you can actually gain the experience without going into the classroom.